Like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. Thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome. Now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one, man. Monday stream, man, and after a weekend of Saints football, all I can say is that I'm very happy just to get some football, man. And listen, even though we didn't win the matchup, we ultimately did set the interesting preseason game. That's all I can say. Didn't it? I mean, if anything, wasn't it fun? Wasn't it interesting? It went down to Hunter Deckers trying to throw the ball for a touchdown, and it went down to the wire. One of the more entertaining preseason matchups that we've seen in a while. So it's cool. Big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Much love. OG, big ups to you. DJ S, much love. Brother Byron is in this thing. Brother Wallace, shout out to you as well, man. Good to see y'all in the stream and the rest of the mighty Who-Dats across the hemisphere. Hit the like button, hit the sub button, punch up the hype button 3 times. We up in this thing, man. And shout out to our main sponsor of the show, which is FanDuel. FanDuel bringing us is sponsoring the show. 2026 NFC South winners. You see them on your screen. Plus 200, plus 240, plus 310, plus 330. These are the odds until they are not otherwise. But we know these would change and they are fluid. Plus, there's a ton of other stuff going on as well. Shout out to M Form Maverick. Shout out to you on IG, bro. I see you. And much love to all the mighty Who-Dats out there. I see y'all all, man. Be great, Josh. Big ups to you, man. Who-Dat to all the mighty Who-Dats, man. You give me a Who-Dat, I give you a Who-Dat back, baby. So in this broadcast, fam, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to kind of lightly go into the matchup that we just seen this past weekend and kind of get some stats and stuff behind it, if you know what I mean. It's kind of look into the numbers, so to speak, of what we've seen and kind of delve into the matchup that was the biggest talking point that I'm thinking we getting out of the matchup that is Saints and Jags is the fact that we looking at the backup quarterback job, the kicker position. Yeah. So far after week number 1 of the preseason, we looking at quite a few things, aren't we, family? And let's kind of talk about it because there are some things that change as we progress into week number 2. Let's get on graphic, man. Let's get on graphic because I know this is one of the top things to kind of get into. We talk about some of the reps, and I give you guys a few of the rep counts that we had the offensive defense rotation for preseason week number 1. The starters no reps because of the heavy workload that the team received in its scrimmage game. And you can see why guys like Kellen Moore and others are using these scrimmages. Very smart, very intelligently using these scrimmages because there's no tackling there. You know, it's a touch type of situation. So you don't expose your guys to injuries to tackling, you know, your starters to tackling on the field if they're playing a physical scrimmage where it's mostly touches, right? So people don't risk those injuries. So they got a lot of work in a 2-hour scrimmage last week, 2 days prior to the preseason matchup. And this week, and we'll go over it, there are 2 scrimmages this week. The Saints are traveling. They did a little light something or other, and then traveling to Cali to prepare for, you know, scrimmages against the Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams. So it's going to be interesting. We're in week number 2 of the preseason. Remember, fam, this week and then next week is the stretch, and it's the time. So, you know, expectations coming into week number 1 are big. So anyway, get back into the graphic. 0 reps for the first team because of the scrimmage. And, of course, the offensive plays 62 in total according to the rep count. 3 QB rotation. Defensive plays 65 total. Backups handled the full workload while the starters set, as mentioned, the first of the physical joint practices with Jacksonville last week. Extended evaluation reps for roster bubble players. So you got a couple of guys that I guess you could consider on the bubble to see what they can do. And this was actually a real interesting stratagem, to be honest with you, if you Kellen Moore, because number one, you got all these other guys that you have to deal with, that you have to look at, you have to see, instead of having the convoluted evaluation process of just looking at the starters who you know this guy's going to be here. Let's just give almost a full workload to the second stringers. And a lot of those second stringers were involved, weren't they? A lot of workload. And we've seen quite a stuff. And shout out to the Patreon and YouTube membership family. The Saints and Jags preseason game 1 film breakdown is available for you guys. For our Patreon and our YouTube membership family, it went up sometime today. I don't know. We be doing a lot. But it did go up, and then it's covered a lot of stuff, particularly the battle between you won't call it that, the competition between Rattler and Zach Wilson. But it was also looking at other players as well. How did that backup center do? Did he do well in that game? According to the tape, I seen some promising stuff, and I seen some stuff that wasn't promising. I seen him get ripped around. I seen him pancake a guy. So there was some mixed results there. That right tackle, Barry Wesley, need to clean his stuff up too. Asim Richards did a decent job. Will Sherman did a decent job as well. But yeah, those we seen Jeremy Wright. He got swept on. He got swam on one time, but he was mostly pretty solid there. Some communication issues with the backup offensive line. It was a few things studying the tape, but we go over the waterfront on that breakdown session. It's well over an hour. Y'all check it out. It's available. For those who want to join it, you can join the channel, our YouTube, our membership channel here, or simply go to patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. And also for the Patrons, we also are going live with the new season of On Q with Big Q, our news show. And let me tell you, it's a lot of news to talk about. We cover it on there. It's only available on Patreon. All right, so anyway, the kind of just talking about that. Let's go into the rest of the breakdown. We talk about the defense, and we mentioned the rotations and all this kind of stuff that we had to deal with in here as we did move to the next one. We talk about the quarterback snaps, right? What the quarterbacks look like. Spencer Rattler, 12 to 15 plays. He was the starter, had a few drives there. Zach Wilson has been a factor of 40 plays, and I think I wanted to see Spencer Rattler and have more, lane to run. I would have liked to have more runway for Spencer in the game. He started off really bad. You know, he was just, that first series was stunk. That first quarter stunk for him. The second time around, he picked it up, gained a rhythm, had a lot of check down and intermediate throws. But the thing that Spencer Rattler need to do, and we studied on the film and cover it a lot, man, the film shows the difference really clearing between the two. Zach Wilson really kind of extended offense and excited the offense, even scored a touchdown. And then, of course, Hunter Deckers had the final drive there to see what he can do. So snap total shown estimates, and that was according to PFF and others. But another thing to kind of talk about, here's the offensive production from some of the guys, some of the top key contributors of this past preseason matchup. Bud Means, 4 catches, 77 yards. Barion Brown also had 4 catches for 53 yards. Palmer had 2 of really difficult catches in a matchup, and Jalen Cropper did some positive stuff as well. Audric Estime, was knocked out of the game with a knee issue, and it was a terrible decision to throw the ball to him by Spencer Rattler because he got hurt on a check down throw. If you study the film, they had 2 other better options there. He just not looking. It was a couple of these plays, and like I've always stressed this, Oscar Delp, 6 targets, he also had a touchdown. Means and Brown powered the first half passing attack. I'll often talk about this stuff when we kind of get into our breakdown on some of these quarterbacks, is that to give yourself a chance, you got to look through the progressions. You got to progress. And we've seen times when Zach Wilson didn't progress. He just did a better job of looking and then assessing and firing and stretching the offense and testing the defense. But you have to give you guys an opportunity. There was several times downfield that the quarterback, Spencer in particular, had an opportunity to extend the play but chose to either check it down or go intermediate. The sack was one of those plays where he spent out of a sack, had an opportunity to fire the ball down the field to a one-on-one matchup. For whatever reason, he didn't. Overthinking the game, nervousness, whatever the case may be. You're coming into your 3rd season. You are not the quarterback that the current administration drafted. You are not that guy. They brought in a former, number 2 overall quarterback in Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson is a guy that, regardless of how you look with the Jets, I don't know too many quarterbacks that came from the Jets that look good, that did anything over the last 5-something odd years. They're just not doing anything right now. Aaron Glenn's there. Maybe he can change that, but they've been stinking for a long time, so I don't really blame that on him, that terrible Jets team, be honest with you. But him is something, Kellen Moore, if you believe Kellen Moore's offensive acumen, and many of us know he's a good head coach offensively, he's seen something in Zach Wilson. And this just is what it is. And he played really well, and this is a supposed to be now, offensive-friendly system. You got a quarterback as a head coach. You got a quarterback that used to be the offensive coordinator. Is our current offensive coordinator. You got obviously a QB coach that's a QB. So this is a very QB-centric or a QB-friendly system. So if you have a quarterback that has some issues before but can throw the ball, that has some mobility, he should be able to pick this offense up and move with it, especially if you're in your 2nd year, going into your 3rd year, 2 years under the current administration, going into the 2nd year. Just saying, people are looking. But Wilson, I'm telling y'all not to take Zach Wilson lightly. We'll see how the second one look, but your boy, I tell you what, he don't notice, to be honest with you. All right, anyway, let's keep it moving and grooving here. That's the key contributors to pass. The next one, we're going to talk about the defensive rotations and how some of those guys did there. You can see the 65 defensive plays. Michael Heldman and Garrett Nelson, 2 guys the Saints brought in to kind of help out, combined for 11 tackles and 3 sacks between those guys. These are the reserve edge guys. Now, the question was, are there any other players defensively that can produce a pass rush in the reserve capacity behind the starters? Well, Michael Heldman and Garrett Nelson stepped up and combined for 11 tackles and 3 sacks. You could throw in the fact that you also had Fadil Diggs running around there. He had a sack. He was playing well. He was in the backfield a lot. He's stepping up. So this is positive from some of these undrafted guys. Of course, Dallas Beanham, the cornerback who led the team in total tackles, he was flying around making plays as well. Size, speed, just has to get used to the game. Jalen Ford had an interception that really stalled out, stopped the drive that the Jaguars were marching, and Jaden Price had a pickoff too and was doing a good job in the first half. So Jaden Price, Dallas Beanham, Jalen Ford, Heldman, Garrett Nelson, positive outings in the first preseason match. We have to keep this going and see how, if these guys can continually produce like this into the rest of the preseason. Now, let's kind of go into this and talk about special or unspecial teams. Is it special or unspecial? You tell me. Well, Ty Chandler had 86-yard kickoff return. It wasn't a touchdown, but it was the longest longest Saints preseason kick return since 2010. That's a long time. But Ty Chandler stepped up. He handled the business. He had a great, it set up a 9-yard touchdown run by Audric Estime to get the Saints on the board fast. So it was a good energy start in the first half, and then it just was nothing in the second. The good Tanner Brown, he was 2 for 2, hit a 49 and a 29-yarder. Perfect nights. He is now, you got to consider him ahead in the kicker battle. Ryan Wright had 5 points. He averaged almost 43 yards per punt, 4 solid punts of 55 yards, 52 yards, 46 yards, and 45 yards. So Ryan Wright, mostly positive. One little thing he did was the 15-yard shank out of bounds. You scrub that out, he had an almost perfect night. That's the special side of it. The good punts, the good kicking, the Ty Chandler 86-yard kickoff return. The unspecial side of it, the costly Charlie Smith missed 52-yard field goal wide right. Ryan Wright's shank, we talked about that, in the 4 special teams penalties. 4 special teams penalties, that's way too much going on there. 3 holes in a face mask for 37 total yards. Now, there were 8 total penalties for 66 yards as a team the Saints had. But guess what? Half of them and more than half of the yardage belonged to the special team. So it was the Dallas Beanham punt return hole. Zaire Mitchell-Payton had a kickoff hole. Oscar Delp had a kickoff return hole. And Jackson Sermon had a face mask. So you add all those together, and that's what happened. So a lot of stuff that backed the Saints offense up right off the bat, can't have that, man. Definitely have to do a better job with that. All right, anyway, let's keep it moving here, and we get to the section we kind of go into it, the top performers. And if y'all have questions, please feel free to throw them in the comment section, the chat, and I'll get to them. PFF grades top and bottom. Now, preseason week 1, after we did the film review, the top performers, as it's showing according to what they're giving Jaden Price, 95 rating. You can see him, Emerson Jr. at 90+, Jalen Ford 90+, Christian Miller did good at 90. You see Easton Kilty involved in Heldman, as you can see. And then, of course, the bottom performers, Spencer Rattler, Charlie Smith, C.J. Donaldson, who really didn't have a yard. He was 4 carries, nothing, and Ronnie Bell. So that's a week 1 snapshot. It reflects the supplied preseason film review data that was used to compile this information. Not good. But anyway, to kind of get to the rest of it, we talk about the stock up. And this is what I was saying about the stock up and stock down reports. As of right now, through the first preseason game and some special training camp action. Right now, Zach Wilson doing his thing, 145 yards in the score. Michael Heldman, 2 sacks. Bub Mean, 77 receiving yards. Barion Brown, 4 catches, 53 yards. Oscar Delp gets his first preseason NFL TD. Jalen Ford gets a red zone INT, which was big, right? And, of course, you've seen the QB workload where Rattler had the first quarter and Wilson had the second and third. He had the second, third, and a portion of the fourth quarter. They really wanted to see what Zach Wilson could do. Stock down Spencer so far right now it's a D-, 42 yards, that lost fumble hurt. Charlie Smith's missed field goal. And, of course, the injury watch with Audric Estime had that 9-yard TD, also a bad knee injury, which we haven't got any information on quite yet, but soon, very soon. Of course, we take a look at, this is the next thing to kind of go over. with the Mighty Who Dat Nation as we kind of sink in. It's the remaining schedule, week-to-week schedule that's remaining before we get to it. And this, of course, right now, August the 17th through the 23rd, this is what's happening as the Saints are on the West Coast in Cali. You know, you see the 17th right now. It's a travel day for the black and gold. Of course, tomorrow, the August the 18th, will be a joint practice with the Cowboys in Oxnard, California. They'll get some work in. The following day will be a walkthrough and film study day. That'll be August the 19th. August the 20th is a closed practice with the Rams. So within the next 3 days, you'll see joint practices against the Cowboys and against the Rams. Saints going to get a lot of work in that week. And then, of course, the 21st is a final walkthrough day. And then that sets the stage for the 22nd when the Saints take on the Rams at SoFi Stadium, 3 p.m. Central Time, kickoff for the black and gold. And, of course, the following day will be recovery and film work. What did we do? Did well. So this week that we're currently in is going to be a very physical and demanding week for our Saints as they're traveling to take on or practice against the Cowboys and Rams, and then ultimately be able to take on the Rams on Saturday afternoon. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all works and it goes and shows, man. But at the end of the day, that's what we're faced with. That's what we're dealing with right now for the Mighty Who Dat Nation. So you can see the remaining of the road to week number 1, as I call it, as we can see next week, and we'll get in more into it, the Texas week, August 24th to 30. You talk about the fact that we prepare for the Cowboys and be traveling to Dallas there. We're going to have installed practice the 24th, put the pads on and go for some evaluation on the 25th, the open practice at Heldman Stadium. That's Tulane. We'll practice there and then travel the following day to Dallas and get ready to take on the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. And you can see that. And then the following week, August the 31st through September the 6th, you got a series of things that will occur, because that is the week where you'll be looking at doing the roster meetings, which is players going to get cut down. You're going to have to chop that roster down from 90 to 53, which will include the waivers and guys being signed to the practice squad or delegated there. Then you flip into regular season mode, and then you get ready for, getting yourself together for that first matchup. As you can see, that Detroit schedule is in effect as we flip it to regular season. But we got a lot of time. It's a lot of stuff going on between now and then, ain't it, family? It's a lot of stuff. But this week, it's a California week. We on the West Coast, and we looking at it. So that's what we dealing with, fam. That's what we dealing with. And like I said, on screen right now, what I got for the family members is I'm showing the New Orleans Saints salary cap situation, and we just peeking at the salary cap. Saints currently 12.1 plus mil over the cap currently. I mean, in the black rather. Just now I won't say over the cap. It might infer that we're in the red, but we have 12.1 mil to play with in terms of money. So we have some injuries, some always some stuff to look at for our team. We have like I cover all of the stuff we're talking about, evaluations of players and personnel. And if we take a look at, and let me show this, as we take a look at the Saints roster there and kind of go down and look at it. Of course, a lot of the guys that we see that are starters that they seem to be okay. Now we'll see. It'll be a good opportunity to evaluate them in week number 2 in these scrimmages up against these other guys. Now, listen, I don't know how much the Saints are. I doubt. Let me just put it like this. I doubt that the New Orleans Saints are going to play any of their starters this upcoming week, because they're using these scrimmages as games. And I doubt you'll have a scrimmage against the Dallas Cowboys and the Rams in the same week, and then starters, y'all tool up. We got this preseason game. No, it is not going to happen. So you'll have a similar mindset here, which is good for the players because, you know, a lot of times some of these scrimmages is not tackling. They're not tackling. They just touch scrimmages, that type. You stop or whatever it is. But the reality is that's good for the players and the team. They're getting the work in, but bad for us because we are not being able to see. You get what I'm saying? See them in action under the lights in these organized exhibition games like we used to. So this is an interesting thing here. So I just wonder how it all proceeds now. These are going to be 2 physical practices against both these teams because the Saints don't like the Cowboys. The Rams are seen as a team that could possibly be a matter of fact, a lot of people say they're a front runner for the Super Bowl out of the NFC. So they're seen as that. So I will see how it all lines up and how it goes, man, forward. But it could be a repeat of what we've seen this past week, which we'll see mostly the reserves, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, and even the 5s stepping in there and get reps. But nonetheless, man, we'll see how it go. But yes, indeed, some of the battles, before I leave, I want to be able to touch on some of the battles. I showed you some of the graphics and information on this, but the Spencer Rattler and the Zach Wilson thing is big right now in the Who Dat Nation. That's a very big talking point right now because a lot of people love to talk about the quarterbacks and how they performed against each other. That was interesting. You're seeing how they play. These are the numbers from the first preseason matchup. You can see that the stars all down the line for one quarterback in Wilson. And they got to get better, man. Spencer Rattler has to improve, man. Now that doesn't mean that he'll be the starter, but Spencer Rattler's put on notice for this upcoming matchup against the Rams. He more than likely he'll be the starter. He'll come out, and I think he'll have a much longer runway than what we've seen. Because I do think that had not Hunter Deckers, who loves to play checkers, was in the game, I think that the Saints probably would have won that game. I think Zach Wilson would have gave them another touchdown, and they would have won that. They would have won the first, the first preseason game. But nonetheless, just seeing what Hunter could do. But yeah, it's going to come down between those guys, and we'll be monitoring that because that is the biggest of the battles between the backup quarterbacks. And can Spencer Rattler, kind of salvage and come back and play better and make the adjustments? The plus side and the positive thing that I see for Spencer Rattler in the game was the fact that he was able to quickly adjust from the first quarter to the second quarter. He quickly adjusted and played better. He just didn't get him nowhere, and if you watch the film and you watch the tape, it shows that he was really getting comfortable on those little in routes and those little slants. The stuff inside of 10 to 15 yards, not much outside of 20 yards. He is real comfortable operating intermediately, really comfortable there. And for you to be a sustaining long option for a quarterback, you're going to have to learn how to throw the ball out there, man. You can't be the backup of a vertical offense because that's what the Saints are. This is a offense that Kellen Moore is building for speed. You have guys, multiple wide receivers of different sizes that can run. You have all the skill set players are very fast. They're elusive and fast. The tight ends are big and not necessarily have to be lined up like a traditional tight end. They could be moved around to create mismatches. Juwan Johnson, Noah Fant, Oscar Delp. It's an athlete's offense, you see? So if you're going to be the backup quarterback of that, you cannot be an intermediate guy all the time. You have to learn how to attack downfield, the stretch, S&S, stretch and stress the defense to the point where it creates, if you're stretching those safeties and they backing the hell up, that creates all kind of crevices, creases, holes, and everything elsewhere for very elusive, skilled players and people to occupy to impose one-on-one style tackling to test the tackling of your adversary, open field tackling with an elusive backs like Elvin and Travis Etienne. I'm telling you straight up. That I favor that all the time. But it all is all about the deep ball and stretching and stressing the defense. You have to be able to throw that out there. Now in the second quarter, Spencer Rattler did well. He was able to start moving the offense. He got into a rhythm. It was back-to-back passes and whatnot, and then it changed. It stopped. It stopped. You know, he had it just wasn't that. On the pass, and I ain't trying to blame Spencer for, but on the throw to Audric Estime, on the check down throw, I was like, bro, why you threw that ball there? That's because he had a tight end. I forgot who it was. Either it was Oscar Delp or Matabo, who he literally stared down, and for whatever reason, they had a guy to the immediate right. You know, if you're the tight end and you're facing the quarterback waiting for the ball, there was a guy to his right, but the guy was retreating from him because he was anticipating that Audric was coming out of the backfield and he had to cover him there. So he left the tight end side and was leaking out toward that. He was committed to going out there. I was like, just dart it in there to the tight end. When you looking at him, just throw it. But he just got a little too comfortable. I was like, you're too comfortable with the check down, bro. And that was not a good look. And it was another one where he did a check down that cost him some yards. So we got to be better decision making as a veteran quarterback. You're going into your third year. You're going to have to push the ball up the field. And that's what Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson wasn't perfect. But Zach Wilson gave, and the Jaguars defense was giving the Saints offense opportunities with one-on-one matchups on the outside, according to the film. We studied the film, broke it down. Like, look at this, Bub Means, look at this guy, look at this guy. You got to get the ball. If it's one-on-one, number one, you got to look. It was too many plays. Well, I was just disappointed at what I was looking because he cheated himself of opportunity. When you don't look at when you don't progress, you don't look at all your progressions, you cheat yourself of opportunities. They got guys out there running routes that's one-on-one. You'll never find them if you don't look. And it don't do no good to look at it on a tablet after you sit down and your drive done stalled. You know, you have to be able to understand that. You have to, when you see something, commit to it and get it done. And it was a little bit too much of, Lil Hinton and too much second thinking for me on tape. But I think Spencer's a smart dude. Let's see how he does in the next matchup. Now, Zach Wilson wasn't incredibly that accurate. His numbers were vastly different because he attacked downfield. He had an opportunity to hit on Bub Means or Barion or whoever it was that was streaking upfield with one-on-one matchups and, single high safety that was way too far committed to the center point of the field and not to either side where the wide receivers were. They had a couple of those, and Zach Wilson took his strike. He's seen it. Now, see, like I said, a guy in the rookie, been around in the NFL. He's seen multiple offenses. He seems comfortable in his concepts. He talked about that before. But he did get in the end zone. I think that if Hunter Deckers wasn't there and Zach Wilson played, he probably would have got the win. But no, like I said, it's an interesting contrast of play between the two because it gives us an opportunity to see Spencer Rattler make adjustments for game number 2 against the Rams, a stiff opponent. So we'll see how it all operates and goes, man. But in the end, man, still work to do in the preseason for both quarterbacks. In terms of the running back, as we kind of mark it down, the running back position was Audric Estime did decently. He was running the ball. He got the touchdown, a 9-yard touchdown to open up the game after the 86-yard return by Ty Chandler. He had several really nice runs. He caught the ball. He got hurt. That's a shame. Now, according to my count, I had Audric as the third back. Audric Estime was clearly the third running back. You have Travis A-Chain Jr., Elvin Kamara, 1 and 2. The third back, in my estimation, was Audric Estime. Now he has this really ugly knee issue because the way the defensive back hit him was in a weird part of his leg, and he had this ankle issue that, I don't know, he went to the tent. He never came back. Kellen Moore more than likely will give us more of an update on what's going on with him, but it ain't looking good from what I've seen. Hopefully he's all right, though. But then you go to the rest of the Saints running backs that's not 1 and 2. And what does it look like after that? Well, then Ty Chandler, he had an opportunity to play. Loved the 86-yard return. He had a few good runs right there to kind of show what he can do, showing his speed off and whatnot. C.J. Donaldson, the north-south thumper from Ohio State, 4 carries, no yards. That's not good if you're a power back who can't move the pile. If you're a power back that can't move the pile, then that's not good. And the crazy part is C.J. Donaldson has all kind of space and opportunity to show Kellen Moore and the staff that, hey, man, listen, I can do this. And we know from a historical standpoint that we always pay attention to our undrafted running backs. Every year, don't matter what year it is, we always have undrafted running backs that come here, and they're really good running backs. They end up going somewhere else and helping out. But we always respect the undrafted running back because of Pierre Thomas and others, Chris Ivory. Who else is it? Kyrie Robinson. We can name a whole laundry list of some of these undrafted guys from the past that came in and helped us. Mike Bell, those guys like that come in and really help. So we got C.J. Donaldson. He didn't do anything positive in this game, not even a yard on 4 carries. Including a handoff he was set up like a fullback and we were setting the power I formation. He was giving the ball like a fullback and just was stopped. And the truth of the matter, it wasn't all on C.J. Donaldson. It was the offensive line. They just looked crappy after the second half. And truth be told, a lot of their 9 blocking and their inconsistencies blocking, the communication issues showed up big time in the second half. They were a major part of why the Saints offense stalled. The defense could not, the offense, the running game could not eat clock enough to just work the clock, shrink the options playbook. They couldn't do it. They couldn't run the damn ball. They couldn't, they couldn't, there were too many mistakes and all this kind of stuff. 18-0 run by the Jags sealed the Saints' fate in the second half because the offense could not run the ball to eat clock. They couldn't get into the play action. There was a ton of penalties. It just was stupid. It was just poorish. That has to be cleaned up. So, and then, of course, the other running backs, Kendre Miller and Devin Neal, both of these guys are currently hurt. Devin Neal's dealing with a hamstring issue. We don't know his status of how close he is. He's been dealing with this for a while. And, of course, Kendre Miller in the final year of his contract. What's up with Kendre Miller? Kendre has this back issue. In the next 2 weeks, Kendre Miller, if he ain't ready to play, you might as well go ahead on and put him on the street and find somebody else. He hopefully he'll be good to go for the remaining couple of weeks to show us something that you could at least work your way back for a final time to make it. Because we could use some running backs right now. Audric Estime's ankle, we don't know what time it is. The only backs that we'll see in the preseason games are guys like Ty Chandler, C.J. Donaldson, Devin Neal, Kendre Miller. If he's healthy, if he's not good to go, you might as well bring in another guy. You need another runner. You're going to need at least a third back or somebody in that capacity in these preseason games. And I would submit that if Kendre is not good, then why are we keeping him? Let's give somebody else an opportunity. We didn't give him enough time, right? Everybody gets enough time. And I would have to say that a lot of people's patience is ran out on Kendre Miller. Mine, I'm one of those people. I've say, man, listen, let's even get that. But it's been too many years of just the same old stuff, bro. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired. I'm just done with it. But we'll see what happens here, man. We'll see what the Saints have, but it ain't looking good for the home team. Of course, if you go to the wide receiver side of things, you've seen that Kevin Austin Jr. made plays, Barion Brown, Bub Means, even Jalen Marino Cropper had a few in there as well. Trey Palmer, some incredibly tough catches as well. Not so much from Ronnie Bell. Brock Reichsteiner wasn't out there. And they more than likely, I don't know what they're going to do with him, the clear spot for him. He's suspended for the first 6 games of it. But we we released Benny Bishop. Got rid of him. He got suspended for something. Shouldn't we do that for Reichsteiner, the free opener spot? I'm just saying. So, Kevin Austin, Barion Brown, Bub Means, Trey Palmer, good outings in preseason game number 1. Good outings. Bryce Lance was held out because of a a little brew, a little boo-boo that Kellen said, hey, man, we just decided to keep him out of the game. But we might see him probably see him in the game, the second preseason matchup. But Bub Means really showed something, did he? Because that was a question mark about Bubs. Bubs is, good size, good speed. His route running's there. Got to work on his blocking. But Bub Means overall is a good wide receiver, and he has an opportunity here to make a name for himself, just to keep it real. All right, the tight end position, we talked about the tight end. We seen a lot of Oscar Delp in this game, didn't we, family? He caught the touchdown. He dropped the pass too as well, but it was a mixed thing, but Oscar Delp overall did well. He did well. We seen him getting there. Matavo was in there. I wasn't incredibly impressed with Matavo. He missed He missed several blocks during the game, which I thought he was supposed to get on, but hopefully he can improve as a block. He's the biggest tight end we got. He's 6'6". We need Matavo to learn to be a better blocker. Put your hands on these guys and drive them out, and I hadn't seen enough of that. So Matavo has to be better in his blocking. You're a big guy. Drive those guys out of the way. I didn't see that. Trayton Welch made a few catches there. A lot of people not factoring Trayton Welch into this thing, but he had more than enough catches later on in the game to kind of help out as well. So our tight ends, we seeing a mix right there as we continue to move on. But good seeing Oscar Delp healthy and contributing. As we move to the offensive line, of course, the starters were involved, but Will Sherman was solid in the game. He had a few breakdowns, but overall, it was a solid performance by Will Sherman. It was an okay performance by Jeremiah Wright in the game. We got a swam pass one or two times on the tape. Torricelli Simpkins played center in this game a lot, and Torricelli started off good, solidly. The pocket was clean for Spencer Rattler and for Zach Wilson too most of the game. But then in the second half, things begin to change, and they maybe it's a take on their conditioning perhaps, because a backup might not be used to playing a full game of action like that. They come in here or there. But you could see as the game wore on for the offensive line, they weakened severely. They weakened to the point where, it just wasn't what it was hitting for. Saints could barely run the ball. Torricelli Simpkins, at this point, I like Torricelli Simpkins. I just don't think I can see why the Saints, instead of signing a center or trading, maybe they are waiting to do what they did last year, which means to go and get a trade for a backup center like we did with Luke Fortner last year and get him, like we sent the Bink Saunders to the Jags for Luke Fortner, which turned out to be a great investment. We traded to get Asim Richards last year. We claimed Xavier Truss, and we picked up 3 veteran offensive linemen just like that before the start of the season. Y'all remember that last year? Is that the move this year for the Saints? I have to ask that. Would that be the move this year for the Saints? Because looking at Torricelli Simpkins, he played okay, but there were times where he got ragdolled in there. They had a defensive tackle that just grabbed him and threw him out of the way. They had more than a couple of times. I was like, dog, you can't let the man do you like that. You just grab him and throw him out the way like he made an error. And I was like, hold on, bro. This dude, you 330-something pounds. Man, can't be much heavier than you. How you 330 pounds and you let a guy that's 330 pounds or 330 pounds throw you like that? Like, hold on, bro. That ain't supposed to make no sense. That ain't make no sense to me, but I seen it. He grabbed Torricelli Simpkins and threw him, not kindly, roughly escorted him out of the way. And then there was another play where he just beat the guy just beat the brakes off of Torricelli Simpkins. He got beat so bad. That was the sack that happened to Zach Wilson. Simpkins got beat so bad he tripped twice on the play. But overall, Simpkins did okay. But I'm still like, might need to take some of this $12 million and see about going and get a veteran center, just in case. But I can see what Kellen's doing here in terms of, man, let me cross-train Cesar Ruiz at the backup center for a little bit. Okay. Now, I know Cesar still need. I said, hold on, bro. Cesar needs much practice. He can get at that right guard spot. But having him at the center position, I can see why. Torricelli Simpkins is not there yet. He's not there yet. And, of course, you look at the rest of the guys that we've seen out there, man. The Seam Richards did okay. There were some communication breakdowns here or there. I was not impressed with Barry Wesley. Let me just say that, man. I wasn't too much impressed with Barry Wesley at the right tackle position. He looked slow. I don't know. I was like, yeah, we might need to go and look at maybe another veteran offensive lineman or something when it's done. But this is still week one of preseason. We'll see if these guys improve. There's still a couple of guys I want to see do better, whether, Easton Kilty, Alex Warschlager, number 79, the big guy from Kentucky. I'm really interested in him. He had a lot of college games he played. I want to see if number 79 could really kind of step up and kind of make a name for himself. He's a very interesting player. And also Alan Haran, number 70, is another offensive lineman from Maryland that we have that you see the coaching staff is trying to see what these young guys can do for the team. So we'll see how that goes. Now, crossing over to the defense now. Let's talk defense. Fadil Diggs got a sack in the game. We talk about Michael Heldman. He's probably the most impressive of our reserve defensive linemen that stepped in, handled business. Garrett Nelson also played well. Like I said, Heldman and Nelson combined for 11 tackles and 3 sacks, which is not bad at all. Those guys played well in the reserve capacity. Michael Heldman was a guy I talked about a lot. Want to see what he can do. I think Fadil Diggs might be ready to make a jump too. He's fast. Even though they call him a defensive lineman, he's made like a hybrid guy. He's defensive. He's an edge guy. He also can play the run a little bit. He can drop it to coverage. Fadil Diggs is a very interesting player. He was getting there as well. So it's the Saints. With Chris Rump the second hurt, then these other guys getting a good runway to do something with. So still watching the Sioux step up, but that was getting the rushers, the edge rushers, the reserve rushers was positive. Was mostly all positive from our young edge rushers, seeing what they can do. The interior defensive tackles, you've seen guys, Christian Miller, according to reports, had him leaving the game with a concussion. We did see Khalil Sanders. We did see Brian Taylor. We've seen a few of those guys inside early on. Jaguars had a few plays where they were moving offense, and the Saints, took it away from them, whether it was an interception by Jalen Ford or a pick by Jaden Price. Those guys, shutting the doors on it. But, yeah, we could still use some more help there, because in the second half, that's why the Jaguars were able to start moving the ball against the Saints. They started hitting the Saints in the mouth right up the middle of the defense. They were running in the middle and to the right on the Saints. And they got what they wanted when they wanted, and then they got the play action involved, and then they started throwing things in there. They were able to move the ball, and then next thing they were able to take the lead 18-0 run on the Saints. So we got to improve there. Still some stuff there. Middle from that interior defensive line point. A lot of guys hurt, whether it's Devon Godchaux, Brian Bressee's done for the season. You got guys like John Ridgeway, he's dealing with an injury. Christian Miller is dealing with something. Christian Boyd did look like crap. And again, didn't like how Christian Boyd looked in the game. He got pushed down on his ass on the run play that got the touchdown. Him, too many missed tackles too. From a few of these guys on defense in the second half, a couple of these linebackers missed tackles, several missed tackles on the touchdown run by the Jacksonville Jaguars. That ain't gonna cut it, man. Not if you want to make this team. So we've seen some interesting play there. We've seen a lot of Jackson Sermon, Isaiah Stallbird. We've seen Jalen Ford do some things. We'll see some more going forward, but yeah, a little too many missed tackles in the second half, and even into the first half of the game, when you're seeing guys was just constantly, we seen guys getting beat. Now Dallas Beanham led the team in tackles. He did well. Martin Emerson played really well, didn't he, fam? Martin Emerson showed his physicality. He broke up what could have been a potential touchdown. He knocked the ball away. He was in there making some stuff happen. He's a 5-year pro. He came over from the Cleveland Browns. He had a tear. He's healthy, and he played really well. Good seeing him. We seen young T.J. Hall get beat deep. He's still learning the game. Jaden Price had a pick, which was good. Mike Reed he was the one that gave up the wide open touchdown pass that the Jaguars had in the end zone to the tight end. That was him, Mike Reed. So Reed, he better read better, or he gonna have to read the exit door of the building to know what time it is. Now we know Isaac Yiadom seemed to be in all of the right places at the wrong time. And what I mean by that, Yiadom got shook out his shoes on one. He missed several tackles. Guys caught passes on him, and it just didn't look good. Like I said, it's the other guys that are here that are cheaper than the $2.7+ million the Saints are giving this man. I mean, like I said, Martin Emerson makes $1.5 million to play. Jaden Price is another player who doesn't make nearly that amount of money. These guys are making a lot more, a lot less, and giving a lot more. That's why I was like, it's going to be over for him. I mean, he got shook out of his shoes on one of them plays, man. He missed a couple of tackles, and after that, like, man, what you doing? You're one of the most senior members. You're a 9-year pro. But the dude was getting shook out of his shoes. He missed most. I can't deal with it. Isaac Yiadom is, and I've been saying that for a while, like, why is he on this team? And then, of course, you look at the other guys in the backfield. Guys were playing. You've seen Howard and the others. But nonetheless, a few moves here or there. And, then, of course, special teams, Tanner Brown and Charlie Smith battle. Y'all know what time it is with that, don't y'all? Tanner Brown is slightly ahead in the competition right now with Charlie Smith, and ain't got nothing to do entirely with preseason. He started pulling away in training camp, and Charlie Smith at first had it. Tanner Brown is here, and it's a kicking competition. We'll see which guy can make it. We'll see. All right. So anyway, that's a look at what happened from the preseason matchups. Number one, and then of course we have week number 2 coming in, and of course the New Orleans Saints still have they're traveling out to Oxnard. To go at the Cowboys, and then ultimately in the same week we'll kind of deal with taking on both the Cowboys and the Rams in scrimmages this week. So I more than likely say that it'll be a repeat of what we've seen in the preseason game. I reiterate the fact that the starters won't play in this second preseason game because they're getting work against Rams and Cowboys in scrimmage. So once again, no sirree, Bob, it won't happen. All right, anyway, fam, that's what I got for y'all today on the stream, man. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, pump up the stream. If y'all got questions, throw them in the chat. Much love to you and Yearns. Big ups, Who Dat for Life, Chris. Big ups to you, my brother. 504 Coast, I'm going to the Carolina game. Okay, shout out to you, my boy. Demetrius, what's up, bro? He said he expected to be out for 2 months. Okay, is that what he's saying? Yes. Okay. Jordyn Tyson. Yeah. I did hear that. Shout out to you, Uptown Stud. I have to put that article up here, and it's one of these situations where it just makes sense, right? And this just broke not too long ago, man. Let me put it up on screen and cover it right now. Here, cover it right now, and here it goes, fam. Saints rookie wide receiver Jordyn Tyson could miss 2 months. Cat Terrell on the scoop. Saints rookie wide receiver Jordyn Tyson could miss the next 2 months with a hamstring injury. And this is Ian Rappaport and Mike Garofalo of the NFL Network on Monday. That means them guys got we got insiders around the team all the time, but the outsiders get the scoop because the outsiders got people inside of the building and they pay big for them scoop, for that info. I have nonetheless. Ian Rappaport and Mike Garofalo of the NFL Network reported Tyson injured his hamstring in the Saints joint practice against the Jags. The Saints will open the season at Detroit on September the 13th. A 2-month timetable from the injury would be week 6 leading up to the Giants game. The Saints will leave for a week in Paris right after the game. Saints coach Kellen Moore said on Friday that this was an injury that could potentially go into the regular season and declined to put a timetable on it while they're still seeking opinions. According to sources, Tyson sought multiple opinions on the right hamstring injury, which Moore said is different from Tyson's hamstring issues he dealt with Arizona State. I remember when I first reported this, I was trying to pinpoint, is it the same or is it the opposite one? And you got your answer. So once again, according to sources, Tyson sought multiple opinions on the right hamstring injury, which Moore says different from Tyson's hamstring issues he dealt with at Arizona State. Tyson's injury occurred after he caught a pass and landed awkwardly, slowly getting up to test his leg before jogging off the field with trainers. He did not return. And this is what Moore said here. He says, I think my understanding of this one, any player that was put in this situation where your foot slips and you get shoved from behind, that has nothing to do with Jordyn's history. Any player in that situation probably has the same diagnosis coming out of this. The Saints were cautious with the 8th overall pick in the rookie minicamp and during OTAs and veteran minicamp. But prior to this injury, Tyson practiced fully every day in training camp with the exception on the one-on-one drills. Now, he said here that Jordyn had a great camp. He played really good football. Inevitably, this is an unfortunate part of the preseason and training camp football, according to Coach Moore. We've already had a few of these guys that you just have something that comes up and we'll just work through it. Jordyn's done a great job, and he'll continue to do a great job. He'll be fine. We'll get through this, and he'll be good to go. This is Kellen Moore. The Saints traveled to California today for joint practices against the Cowboys and the Rams, but Moore said Friday that he didn't know whether Tyson would be traveling with the team. We'll have some guys who, if they aren't going to be a part, let me highlight this, if they aren't going to be a part of any of the work in California, a lot of those guys will stay here and just so they stay in this situation, get plenty of work at our facility. This is what Moore said last week. But there you go. According to the insiders, Garofalo and Ian Rappaport, saying that Jordyn Tyson could miss 2 months of football. And that'll get him up to the minute against the Giants. So that's interesting because what does it mean to the Saints from a wide receiver standpoint now that it just goes to show you every year is different. Every year is different, right? So Kevin Austin Jr., Ronnie Bell, Barion Brown, Bryce Lance, Bub Means, Jalen Marino Cropper, Trey Palmer, and Mason Tipton, I guess. Mason Tipton's still banged up. We don't know when he's coming back. Somebody coming back this week, man, whether it's Mason, Devin Neal, somebody coming back this week. They always are. We'll have to maintain, but that's not good news. But when you have a deep wide receiver room, remember Jalen Polk abruptly retired. Jordyn Tyson could be out for 60 days. You know, where do you go? What do you do? You know, guys have to step up. It's just the bottom line. Guys will have to step up. Let's kind of look at the depth chart too and just see, man. Kevin Austin Jr. did well. Like, these are the guys that get the opportunities. Jordyn Tyson's out. So Kevin Austin, Ronnie Bell, Barion Brown, Bryce Lance, Bub Means, Cropper, Palmer, possibly Tipton if he can come back, because those are the guys that were considered, you know, guys that, you know, were on the bubble, I guess, to a degree, depending on where you are. But Kevin Austin and, to me, Bub Means are on the cusp. Like, if you're looking for 4 wide receivers, we know the top 4 guys. The 3 rookies, Devon Vele, Chris Olave makes 5. Then you have the 6th spot, which a lot of people believe was Kevin Austin and Bub Means' spot. They're competing between the two. But, man, listen, we have to. Those guys have a supreme opportunity now with poor Jordyn Tyson going down, man, for 2 months. What could be 2 months. It's unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. All right, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you for being in the stream. Let's see what you guys think about it. Chime in the chat, man. What you guys think about this development here, because that news just came out not too long ago. Favo Cole says we might have to go outside the building to find us a real kicker. The battle's not over with. You know, we did remember we brung in Younghoe Koo, and they didn't keep him. Is what it was. Dakar says, Q, who were some of your studs from the Jags game? Studs, guys that I really like. Michael Heldman, he had multiple sacks in the game. Dallas Beenum played well as a defensive back. You getting, you know, this. Listen, fam, these, because usually in these preseason games, that's why I'm kind of bringing this forward. the Saints, and I've seen a lot of football for a long time, I've not known, usually when you do a scrimmage, your starters playing the game, right? You do a scrimmage, starters playing the game. This time around, you see what Kellen did. Kellen got the scrimmage in, and then the starter set for the preseason game. If that's what he's going to do going forward, in likelihood with this week, with two physical scrimmages coming, I don't see him playing the two scrimmages against the Cowboys and the Rams and then put his starters in the preseason game. More than likely, he's going to sit the starters and then play the backups. Well, if that's the case, a lot of guys who would not have got as many reps because the starters would have shared, at least took the first quarter, right? A lot of those guys are receiving a lot of attention. They're getting in the game. Dallas Beanham is one of these guys, right? So he did well. We talk about guys like Jalen Ford and Jaden Price getting interceptions. They played well in the game. They also had tackles. There are quite a few. I like what I've seen from Bub Means, stretching the field. That was another thing. Part of Bub's repartee is that he does have 40 speed. He can get up the field. He's physical, right? He's not just some possession guy. He's actually has a degree of speed to him. Him getting upfield, playing physical. I was impressed with Trey Palmer. Trey is seen mostly as a special team player. Trey made several difficult catches, and plus he can stretch the field. He's a guy that's a speed demon. But seeing him out there actually, catching difficult passes was very refreshing. To say, okay, he's not just a special team guy. He can also play the receiver and make difficult catches. So some of those guys, besides the obvious guys like Zach Wilson, who, had a touchdown, had over 40-something odd yards, throwing the ball, commanded the offense, looked good. Audric Estime did some positive stuff before he got hurt. So it was quite a few guys, man. Thank you, Dakari. All right, Who Dat Nation says, what game you think Tyson is going to be ready for? I'm thinking against the Falcons. Well, that great question, but it took the guesswork out of it because according to the article, if it's 2 months that he's out, that does place him week 6 up against the Giants. Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, you know what I'm saying? So there you go on that. Thanks for the question, fam. Emma's Fist says, I'm very disappointed in Rattler. Underhill pretty much said it. Training camp does not mean a thing if you can't perform in these games. Yeah, you got to put it together. Remember what some of the players talked about that we practice how we play. Remember they said that? Now I've often said that over and over again because of the fact that, it's like dress rehearsal. Like if you're an actor or something, you go in there and you have all these rehearsals in an attempt to kind of refine your reaction to certain line, the memory of the line you're supposed to say, what behavior you're supposed to attribute to the line, the emotion, the connection with the person that you're reading the line, this sort of thing. And this is what the Saints are doing, working on chemistry with your teammates, finding out what you need to do, refining your game. And, he has to bring it. Spencer Rattler has been in the league going on 3 years. He's been in Kellen's offense going on 2 years, starting the second year. So he has an advantage to a degree on Zach Wilson. But nonetheless, Zach Wilson has been in the league for a while. So he's seen stuff. Whether he might not have done a terrific job, but whatever losses and issues he had with the Jets, he's still a player that can, have these experience and young enough and smart enough to turn this stuff around with Kellen Moore. So it was a real, that's interesting. I thought you might bring in a developmental quarterback to compete with Spencer. This man brought in a former top 3 drafted QB to compete with Spencer Rattler. And you're like, wow, okay. And Kellen Moore, thinks, hey, man, I think I can help this guy. And he looked good in the first week. We'll see what it looked like in the rest of them. 504 Cole says, Q, will you see Shuck? Will we see Shuck next game? No, we won't see Shuck next game, bro. I think Shuck will not play in preseason game number 2. I definitely think against that. Dabu, shout out to you. Who that to you? All right, OG say I'm fine with 2 months instead of a year. Tell it, OG. All right, Kelvin Washington, what's up, bro? From Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to Kel. All right, yeah, bro. All right, Tonkaton says Rattler attacks the field in practice but holds back in actual games. We know he can throw the bombs. He just needs to play more carefree. At what point does he, exhibit this? It's nerves then. How could you then practice and have confidence in practice but it doesn't show in the field? It's supposed to breed, when you practice breeds confidence. Confidence is supposed to show everywhere, whether you're on the field or not on the field. You see what I'm saying? That was the purpose of practice. Practice and repetition builds confidence because you say, oh, I know how to do this. But you get in the game and be, dinky donkey do. It ain't going to cut it. You look at the film. Y'all, for my Patreon and YouTube membership family, we studied it. I did over an hour worth of it, just going over it, explaining to them. And listen, it was like rookie stuff. It was rookie stuff. Like when you looking at the game, because it's a lot going on, you're listening to the commentators, this type of thing. But when you look at the study film, let me tell you something. You can see everything. That's why we break down and study the film. We see what they see. But you see the indecision in him, because I could see him, and I pinpointed him looking at the guy, and then for whatever reason hit the guy, throw the damn ball, throw it. I'm like, throw the ball. He don't. He turns and checks it down because that's the safer throw. One of that throw was the one that got Audric. He threw it. Audric caught it. The guy popped Audric on the back of his weird spot on his leg, and that's how that ankle injury came on that check down throw. It's like that was a bad bet right there to throw that check down throw. The man was converging on him. He couldn't even turn upfield. Don't do that. Throw that ball, because they had a tight end right there. I don't know if it was Oscar or whether it was Matavo. It was one of those guys. And the guy was, 5 or 6 yards upfield? And he had a guy that was retreating to the spot where Audric was. He was breaking away, retreating away from him. So there was an area, and he had one to the left, but that guy wouldn't have been a factor. If you throw that ball and dart that ball in between there, that tight end can catch and turn up. He was looking at the guy like, yeah, I should throw this ball, but he didn't do it. He pulled it down and checked it down. And I was like, and that wasn't the only time he did it. Then there was times when Spencer Rattler did not go through his progressions. Like on the throws when nothing happened, it was him not looking. He cut off half his options. He did. There's times when he just stared left. He did not look right. He had a one-on-one matchup on that right side. He did not even see a guy running a route and then looks back at him to see if he looking. That's one of the worst things ever. If you out there working your ass off, running a route, breaking it down and putting your best work in, you turn around, quarterback ain't even looking at you. He did not look in his direction at all. He has to fix that, man. He got to fix that. And I don't think it'll be a terrible, difficult thing for him to do. But at this point, man, if you don't have any confidence to play the QB position going into your third year, this might not be the job for you. And I'm not saying it is for him, but you got to cut it loose, bro. Don't stop sitting up there overthinking it. I can look at him overthinking it. Just play free. Throw the ball, man. He did that in the second half. Then that's when the bad decisions came too, because he wasn't looking and going through his progressions. He was dinky donkey do. And then Zach Wilson came in the game and started cutting loose. I thought that he deserved, maybe not, because it was really Kellen Moore who's making the decision to pull him out of there. But I was like, let me give him one more, one more drive and see what he can do. But Kellen Moore seen enough, pulled him out of the game, put Wilson in there. Wilson's first series looked like crap. He had a couple of bad passes to tight ends, but then he adjusted and started whipping that damn ball up the field and stretching out the defense. You got to throw the ball down the field. If you want dinky donkey do it, you got to stretch the defense. If you don't, they'll crowd that intermediate area and make every throw difficult to make. The defense is reacting to you. They are reacting to you. They're reacting to you. Sometimes they'll try to rush you along, but if you are hitting them deep, they'll least likely to send a bunch of blitz. They might send one guy here or there, but if you hitting on your stuff, they ain't sending 7 guys at you. With a single high safety roaming to cover the field. No, you got to do that. 50 Cole says I still would give Kendra one more shot. I hear you, brother. I hear you, bro. Me and many people, I'm tired of it, bro. We could use running backs right now. We got Audric Estime got hurt. I don't know where his status is, but it ain't looking good. They're not going to play Travis Etienne or Elvin Kamara in these preseason games. So you're down to basically Ty Chandler and C.J. Donaldson. Devin Neal has a hamstring, and Kendre Miller has a back issue. So at some point, you got this week and next week, and he has 2 weeks to impress them. He got 2 weeks to impress them. Thank you. Tonka Tun says, help out Big Q and take a second to hit. Please do. We got a good game going on here. Y'all spike on the like button in the hype button. If you're not a sub up, man. I appreciate y'all for doing that. Mad Drummer says we're going to end up signing some more offensive linemen. I agree with you, bro. I think it's coming. Hemisphere adds, I think that's the plan. Ruiz is going to take over center spot. Such something happens when McCoy, once Wright gets his first start at guard, Ruiz will not be back at guard. I don't think Wright's ready yet. You know, you ever watch Jeremiah Wright? He refers to himself in the third person. Yeah, Jay Wright, man. Listen, Jay Wright don't play. You know, man, listen, I'm telling you, man, Jay Wright like ice cream. Yeah, Jay Wright like driving motorcycles. Jay Wright like sitting at the park watching the sun. Jay Wright like crawfish etouffee, you know what I mean? That's kind of weird. Jay Wright gonna get this starting job. You know, it's kind of weird, man. He was referring to himself like a separate player, y'all know that? I said, oh boy, here we go. All right, anyway. Yeah, all right, yeah. All right, so yeah, thank you for that Bullet Family Travel Vlog. Shout out to you, fam. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Who that to you? Yeah, Tonkaton says Devin Neal was solid. Yeah, he was too. And that's Kellen's guy. Once again, Spencer Rattler is not Kellen's guy. He didn't select him. He didn't bring. That's part of the old regime. You know, and I'm not saying that he don't like him, but I'm saying it hits differently when a coach of the current regime picks a player. He's more patient with that player that he picked. Just saying. That's just common how they operate, right? So if you have Zach Wilson, he brung Zach Wilson here. The complete with that was like when it was interesting. I was like, why? What? I was thinking more of a developmental guy, not a guy that was a former second overall quarterback that failed with the Jets. Went over there with Coach Payton and other places before he ended up with the Saints. And he's at that right age where if you find the right system, you can get some good value out of him. Just saying. Same thing with Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller is not a part of the current administration selections. He's a guy that is I ain't gonna say tag along, but he's attached to the previous administration. Kellen Moore picked last year Devin Neal to come here. You see what I'm saying? He added Audric. He C.J. Donaldson, some of these other guys to compete with him. Ty Chandler, who was in there returning kicks and all this kind of old stuff. So it hits different when you select a guy, or you bring a guy in versus the guy that's already here in the reserve capacity, especially if the guy got an ugly injury history that has gained a injury-prone tag. That is a problem as well. Mad Drummer says we do, and he says we do, and DB to get back up Emerson, Riley, McKinstry. Thank you, brother. Shout out to Mad Drummer. Yeah, the Ruiz thing, the kind of talk about hemisphere. Yeah, the Ruiz thing. I can see what now I was asking the question, what are we doing with the Ruiz thing? Why are we doing the Ruiz thing? Well, now you see. Torres Ellis-Simpkins had a lot of positive stuff that happened in this game. A lot of positive stuff, but I was watching, felt like he did some positive. I'm just not comfortable with him yet at being the backup center for your starters if something was to happen to your center who missed 20-something odd games over the last 4 years. I would want to get a Luke Fortner type like we did last year. All right, what it do, pimpin'? Shout out to my guy, Scoob. Much love, my boy. Appreciate you for being in the stream. Shout out to Snakebite. Demetrius adds, Kellen is going to shut him down until early November. Hey, bro, listen, I ain't mad at that. That's why the Saints had a robust room, didn't they? The wide receiver room was the most, deepest room. Jalen Polk could really help about right now. Anybody got Jalen Polk phone number? Oh, man, he could really help out about right now. Huh? Anyway, yeah, he's out. He's done. Mason Tipton still hurt. Brock, what's his name? Ross Steiner's the little interesting wide receiver guy. He could practice. He just suspended soon as the regular season started for 6 games. I don't know if the Saints want to hold on to that guy. They might want to go and get him another wide receiver that can actually be ready to play because of Jordyn Tyson missing 2 months. You're going to need somebody perhaps that can help you out in the interim. Saints might feel like with a lot of these moves that we have wide receivers already there that can step up and contribute. Kevin Austin Jr., Bub Means, some of these other guys, can they help? Yet to be determined. And we have yet to get to the second week of preseason. We just got through the first week, and Brian Bresee, Dylan Reduntz, the abrupt retirement of Jalen Polk. So many surprises now. We get hit with Jordyn Tyson possibly missing 2 months of football. Very, very tough starting off, man. We gotta burn some sage over there or something. We gotta do something, man. Run off the injury monster. Hey, man, Mad Drummer says, Q, say we go crazy and win like 4 in a row. Then Tyson comes back, and that should scare the league. I think it's great he gets recovered. Yes, indeed, bro. I agree with you. I think we seen enough to know Jordyn Tyson could play, didn't we, fam? Put one in the chat if y'all agree with me. Have any of the great Whodats, they've seen more than enough to know that, hey, man, Jordyn Tyson could play some ball, right? So it's like at this point, like, yeah, we could shut you down. Because number one, it happened when it happened. It was exactly 30 days from the start of the regular season. So it's an additional couple of times. So it's just when you deal with hamstring injuries, you really have to take extended amount of time to kind of get it right, because you don't want it to linger. And I would rather have him later on than, like OG said, OG dropping wisdom. I can give you 60 days if you give me the rest of the year. Yeah, I'm good with that. That is logic. That makes sense to me. Yeah. All right. Shout out to my boy Randolph. He says this is what many of us were concerned about with Jordyn Tyson, wishing him a speedy recovery. Talent is not the question itself. Absolutely right. Shout out to my boy Randolph. He's 100% right on that, because that was always the case, wasn't it, brother Randolph? Always was ever the case. When we talked about Jordyn Tyson during the draft, talking about Jordyn Tyson catching the ball, playing, doing this thing. That's why Carnell Tate got ahead of him. That's why the Titans took Carnell Tate, because Carnell Tate was available, despite the fact that he did not have the attractive 40 time that people wanted them to have for a top 10 receiver, or top 3 or top 2 wide receiver in the draft. Didn't have the 40 time, but he had the availability, he had the stats, he had the skills, just didn't have that attractive 40 time. But Jordyn Tyson, truth be told, his 40 time wasn't all that either, but the way he plays, it was different. They look faster on field. But he did not have the stigma of having the hamstring issue, to the point where the black and gold representatives had to go to his private workout to see what was going on. And he impressed the Saints. I think he missed only one catch out of 20, 30 something catches. He dropped one of them, and he showed out and showed up. Can I tell you, man? But nonetheless, I give him all the time that he needs, man. I give him all the damn time that he needs to do it. So we'll see. All right, Randolph also adds, man, if you think you won average okay game by Zach Wilson, something to get excited about, his 2 deep pass to Brown means was good, and TD was a blown coverage. He was supposed to hit that. You say the same thing about your boy Tyler, right? I mean, about Spencer Rattler. You can't can Zach Wilson because he's something that he's supposed to do, but then not say Spencer Rattler didn't do it. Spencer Rattler didn't do it. And he had shots. He had opportunities. I've seen him. So, yeah, one thing you see it, the other thing is to do it. That's the second part about it. You got to execute. That's the part about it. He executed and the other guy didn't. That's why it looked different. But, yeah, it is something to be positive about. Yes, it is. Because he led that offense in the organized manner, and that's something positive, because people would have said the same shit about Spencer Rattler. Oh, man, Spencer, you had 150 yards and a touchdown. You seeing that? It would be the same energy. So, yeah, we're going to give him accolades when they do right. You're supposed to. Yes, he did really well, and you got to give him his comeuppance. Spencer Rattler did not do that, and that's why Spencer Rattler, he fumbled the damn ball. He had a crappy first period. He got hot in the top of the second quarter and then died off for the rest of it. So I mean, yeah, they had a few little breakdowns from there and whatnot, but he had opportunities to find guys up the field and failed miserably to do it. Like I said, I think I ain't gonna say it's him, it's on him, but he should not have thrown that damn ball to Audric Estime. They had a better target, 2 people that he could have hit on that route, and he was staring the guy down, looking at the tight end, and still checked it down. So yeah, Spencer Rattler is might have the physical. I don't even know if you can say he has the physical edge or whatever, the knowledge. What good is having the knowledge if you can't execute? You got to give these guys credit when they do it, bro. You got to give it. You got to give it. Spencer Rattler did not hit that target. That's why he looked bad that day. He did not live. You can't treat one different than the other. You got to look at them. If you're comparing them in the competition, it can't be a tilted table. It can't be, a personal preference to one versus the other. I'm looking at football and who played well, who didn't play well. That's how it's supposed to go. All right, what's up, Corey Covington? Shout out to you. I appreciate you for being on the live. Demetrius, what's happening, bro? All right, yeah, this is what it is, man. That's how it goes. Tim, what's up, fam? He says QB4. Hold on, Randolph says, he says, Davenport, Peyton Turner. Nah, don't invoke that, Randolph. Don't do it, bro. Don't invoke it, bro. Don't invoke it, bro. Don't invoke it. And speaking of which, Randolph, that Davenport is signing with Dennis Allen, huh? He with Dennis Allen right now. Davenport is signing with the Bears. He going up there to play with Dennis Allen. How about that? So yeah, did you know that? What's up, Bev? Shout out to Beverly. But yeah, man, that's the thing that I see. I'm fair. I that's my whole thing. I attempt to be fair as I possibly can. I'm not a Zach Wilson guy. I'm not going to tell you no lie. I do like Spencer Rattler a lot. But when it comes down to being fair, I got to tell the truth. I got to give y'all a real. I can't give you a slanted talk. That's not how this platform was built. Of all these years, it's real deal, Holyfield spill on the Saints. That's how it's built. And I got to tell you the truth. In a battle between, or a competition between the two, you think that Spencer would have the advantage because he is going into his second year of the system. He has more familiarity. One game here. When you look at the preseason, Spencer Rattler did good in the training camps, rather. When it got to the games, because this is where the true evaluation, the coaches really evaluate you in these organized exhibition matchups. They really, because it's as close as you can get to a real game. It's you can't, in these scrimmages, be that as they may, they try to simulate as much as they can the environment of a regular season NFL game. The preseason is as close as you can get. So when a guy goes in there and he makes the throws, he avoids, like it was several times where he had it, not just the throws, right? Because I know you know what you're talking about. But it was more than that. It was his awareness of the pocket. Did you see several times where he was able to step up and slide around in the pocket? Put one in the chat if y'all seen that. His pocket awareness, to see guys, the pocket enveloping him stepping up into the pocket and delivering the throw. Did we see the time where they had a guy on his back? He stepped up into the pocket. He felt the pocket wrapping around him and the pressure coming, never turned his head to look at the guy, kept his eyes downfield and delivered the throw to the running back, I think it was, out in the flat. I was like, okay, that's showing, this is what I'm saying, because it's more than just making the passes. It's who has a feel for the pocket, who had, be able to keep eyes downfield, regardless of what's going on, right? Seeing what's happening pre-snap, pointing out protections, and then post-snap, snapping the ball, getting another view from sideline to sideline, left, right, look and see when everybody at. Then going through what you need to go through the progressions, right? It's a lot involved in that. And he performed better than the other guy, way better. Fumbling the ball, looking uncertain, unsure of himself, that's not a good look. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is he didn't have a great outing. The good news is that with week number 2 and 3, he can change the vantage point. the view on that. He could change that view. So I know what you're talking. I know what you're looking at, Randolph. Me and you, I give you that. You're a smart guy. But at the same time, this is how I deal with it, But yeah, I still think it's a competition, bro. I don't think one is going versus the other. It's just one preseason game. It's one, and we got 2 more plus training camps. We got a lot of practice between now and when the decisions are made. So it's a lot he can do to turn this around. But I'm just looking at it not from a long distance standpoint, meaning that, this is going to put him on outs. No, I don't see it like that. The way I see it is that it was a bad or off week for him. Let's see how he improves week 2 preseason, week 3 preseason. Let's see what he can do. Because this should teach us a lot about it. Because it's an important position, ain't it, family? The backup quarterback job is very important. So we have to figure that thing out. We have to be able to see if we got the right guy in there. So if he can't withstand the competition from Zach Wilson, and, hey, man, it might be. But like I said, right now, just look at it like this. Out of 3 weeks, 3 preseason games, 1 preseason game down, Zach Wilson 1, Spencer Rattler none. So we'll see. I still think he starts. I still think he starts in the second preseason game. I just think it's just 1 week of action. Can he keep this thing going? You know what I mean, bro? All right, shout out to you. Ultraremo said, keep it G. Wilson has a better upside overall. I don't know if he say better upside than him because, because some people, not us, but some could be underestimating Zach Wilson because of what he looked like as a Jet. And I've said that to you, fam. You know how many quarterbacks the Jets done been through that looked terrible, that they just hadn't been able to put it together playing for the Jets? We talking about guys like Geno Smith's there now, but they had quarterback after quarterback that was there in the Jets system, and it just didn't look like nothing. So over time, could we really fault Zach Wilson for looking what he looked like playing for the Jets, right? Because I'm thinking the guy got took 2nd overall by the Jets back in the 2021 draft. He's only 27 years of age, right? And if you look at, let me put his stats on screen. Here it is right here, the Zach Wilson stats. All his stats don't look very super impressive, but if you look at it, he played 38 games, since he's been in the league for 5 years, right? This is his 5th year. He had 3 lackluster years with the Jets, and I think his 3rd year with the Jets was probably his best year. Because it was something else, man. I remember they brought Aaron Rodgers up there. Y'all remember all that? They brought Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers got hurt on the first play, I think it was. Y'all remember that craziness? Them people had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers up there and still couldn't do nothing. You bring it in. I just don't understand. But Jets there. But this man's record, like his last season, 2023 with the Jets, 60% completion. He threw for over 2,200 yards. He had 8 touchdowns versus 7 picks. His rating was 77.3. That doesn't look like all of that. That's not very exciting. But even with his rookie year, he threw for over 2,300 yards, 55% completions, 9 touchdowns, 11 picks, right? He was two picks off. But look how many times he was sacked. 44 times the first year, 23 times the second year. He got hurt. And then the last year, he was there 2023, 46 times. So what'd that tell you? That means that we got some offensive line issues there with the Jets. So how is any quarterback supposed to thrive when he's getting knocked around that much? So what he does, he goes to Miami for a little bit, 4 games, 6 out of 11, 32 yards. Didn't play much. Then he went with Sean Payton there for a little bit. Not much, not time, but he had the exposure. So what I'm saying is, if you look at this is a number 2 overall pick quarterback back in 2021 out of BYU, 27 years of age, 38 games played, 57% completion, over 6,000 yards passing versus 23 touchdowns, 25 interceptions. So it's a 73.1 rating on his thing. So what is that? None of that's super impressive, but it's not really that bad. It shows that you had a shaky environment that you were at, and in Miami he didn't play as a starter, right? So Kellen Moore, head coach Kellen Moore, who we all love and respect his decision making, especially offensively speaking, looks at 27-year-old former second overall pick in the 2021 draft and says, hey, Zach Wilson, come to the Saints, compete for my backup QB job. The Spencer Rattler, who's sitting up here the whole damn time. What does that tell you? That is Kellen Moore tripping? Is he on that heavenly hill? No, I sincerely hope not. I don't think he even drinks. But the bottom line is he sees Zach Wilson as something of I ain't gonna say reclamation project, but he thinks that with a change of environment and a QB friendly room, speaking the two quarterbacks, and Zach Wilson talked about this in prior interviews, that he likes it here because everybody's a quarterback. That hits different when your head coach is a quarterback. Most of the time, the offensive coordinator is a quarterback, or, sometimes they might have been a wide receiver converted, wide receiver, or some of them might be running backs that turn into coordinators. There's a different mix. A tight end coach that might be an offensive coordinator now. But when you're a quarterback, that's a head coach, Kellen. Your former quarterback, Nussmeier, who's the offensive coordinator. Of course, your QB coach is going to be a quarterback. And you got those three guys for your offense speaking for you, and you're a quarterback. You got a bunch of quarterbacks talking quarterback lingo. That makes everything more centric or friendly for quarterback jargon and field and understanding the explanations of how this stuff goes, how it goes. It's just a different effect. And he spoke about that. So it's a very QB friendly environment for a second overall quarterback who didn't get all the bumps and the bruises and all this kind of stuff, who just needed to change environment. Perhaps Kellen picked this guy. Perhaps Kellen Moore sees that this guy can turn something around. Just saying. Kellen Moore picked him. I didn't. But he sees something in this guy, and we've seen a few things here. So we'll see. Ultrarimo says exactly, system with the Jets did not benefit his skills. Kellen Moore picked this man and said, hey, man, come to the Saints. I think we could work together and we can make some positive stuff happen. I'm just saying. Our L-Dub says, speaking of Jake. Oh, man, I seen Jake Haener get picked up by the Jets. Hold on, they have pictures. Somebody just I don't know, man. They had a picture. I should have saved it. I should have shared it. But I did not. I did not share the picture. It was a Jake Haener. And it was a picture of Jake Haener in the Jets in a quarterback uniform. But Jake Haener had a giant uniform on, and he had like a giant wings attached. And I wish I could find a picture to show y'all. And just when I'm looking for the picture, is no way to be found. It was fun. I should have saved it. I should have saved the picture, man. I just didn't want to be petty, because I was like, yeah, Jake Haener signed with the Giants, man. So, he was with the Chiefs. Chiefs cut him loose. He ended up with the Giants, and I was trying to scroll and find the damn picture. And of course, the picture is nowhere to be found, baby. And isn't that how it goes? Isn't that how it goes? It was a funny picture. It was kind of like, you remember the picture that Jake Haener took from the Saints? It's the picture where it's the picture pretty much where he is, the Zoolander pictures. He's doing all of this posing. This is what this is what he's basically known for as a Saint. It's nothing really else that kind of Jake Haener was known for as a member of the New Orleans Saints, except for these really weird photos that he took. Y'all remember that? Anyway, man, I was trying to scroll and find these damn pictures, and they are nowhere to be found, man. I don't know if somebody took them off of there, but I should have saved them, but I didn't want to be petty. I thought I would find them later, but it's all right. Congratulations to Jake Haener, man. He got a job. Some kind of way people are seeing something in Jake Haener, for him to be getting these jobs, man. So I would say whoever the hell his agent is, man, good job. keeping the man employed, man. Look at that. I done scrolled, I don't know how far, and I don't even see him, man. I was trying to show y'all the Jake Haener pictures of him in the Giants uniform. I think somebody probably took him off of there. All right, anyway, man. Yeah, but the news right now, fam, just to let y'all know, is the fact that it's Jordyn Tyson, man, could miss 2 months of football and possibly be back for the Giants game in week number 6. A lot of the Who-Dats are disappointed, but at the same time, it's okay. I'll give you 60 days if you give me the rest of the year. I think that's a good trade-off, to be honest with you. I'm not mad about that, but we did know that he did have a few issues with the hammy. You know, it's unfortunate, but the Saints were pretty cautious too. Look how they loaded that wide receiver room up, and they still have over $12 million if they need to make some moves. So at some point, do you guys believe the Saints will bring in another veteran, or do you think they just will lay up and try to use the rest of the wide receivers in the wide receiver room? You know, JL and Marino Cropper, ultimately Mason Tipton might return. You got all these other guys that might receive reps, Bub Means, Kevin Austin Jr., Trey Palmer, all those guys. What do you guys think about that, man? Just let me know in the chat, man. I'm still trying to scroll to find it. It's not meant for me to show y'all this picture. All right, so anyway, man, listen, shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Do me a service by hitting the like button. Hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on social media. Hype the stream, hype the stream, hype the stream, and hype it again, man. I'm trying. It's not meant for me. I'm just trying to find it for y'all. It's funny. Anyway, man, listen, man. Unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. But listen, shout out to you guys. Also, shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. Check out FanDuel. Get your prop bets in. As you can see right now, these are the numbers until they change. It's probably going to change real soon, to be honest with you, fam. But plus 200, plus 240, plus 310, and plus 330 are the line for the NFC South. A lot of this is going to change as we go forward, man. We'll just have to see. Also, big ups to the fam. Let you know our Patreon and YouTube membership family, just to let you know that the film study is available to our Patreon and YouTube membership family right now. It was put up, I think, today. Usually it's supposed to go live tomorrow on Tuesday, but what the heck, you know, just to give it to the family members early. Usually it's on Tuesday, but we did put it out there early today for the fam. It covers all of the stuff to break down. We look at the quarterbacks. We look at some of the offensive linemen. Torrey Sally Simpkins, how he do. We looked at a few things in there. So that's available to the family members, and we appreciate our Patreon and YouTube membership family for all the beautiful things that you guys do. It's because you guys that we're able to continue to build a strong platform, sites, and everything that we've been doing over the many years, man. It's because of the support of the mighty Who-Dat Nation and a lot of the family members that just appreciate, respect what we do and what we bring to the community. And listen, it go right back to you, baby. Much love and respect to all of you guys. And when I step before you, I always represent the mighty Who-Dat Nation in style, and always coming with the professional, doing everything I can before I step before the family members, because I represent in the way that Who-Dat Nation wants me to represent. And I appreciate you guys for everything, man. I really do. So with that being said, man, listen, I'm going to get ready to cut out on that. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's it, Demetrius. The picture of Haener. No, it's not. It's not with black. It's you talking about the one with the Saints. It's one that somebody did, and I don't know why I can't find it. Why can't I find this picture? Just hold on, fam. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do one more look to see if I can find this Jake Haener picture that somebody put up here out here. Hold on, let me see if I can find it, man. It was a hold on here. It got to be up here somewhere. I think somebody tried to took it down. That's probably what it was. Somebody took it down. All right, but yeah, it was one of the pictures with Jake. These weird photos with Jake, and y'all know the ones with he does the Zoolander thing. I think it is. See, that's what I get for not saving the damn thing. I was supposed to save it, and that I didn't want to be petty. That's what it was. I didn't want to be petty. But yeah, it was like in the hold on, let me show y'all this, man. See, here it is right here, man. This some of it right here. Adam, and it said they added Jake Haener to that. That's messed up. Whoever put that up there, you wrong for that. He put the 2 snaps up crew on there. Look at that. All right. So anyway, it was another photo. I'm trying to find the one with Haener. Yeah, it is. That's the Zoolander. What is this? Yeah, the Zoolander, this stuff. Yeah, that was real. What is all this about, man? Yeah, this is what he's been. This guy was a guy that Saints picked up, and this is what he's going to be known by. These pictures, what he did. What is he doing? This looks like a pop or a CD cover or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And I was trying to find the graphics because they had some Giants had did something with him in the Giant uniform out there. There you go. All right, so yeah, I was trying to find them, fam. There it is. That's the one they wrong. Look why they did that, man, bro. Look how they did it. Oh, man. Why they did that to Jake, man. Oh, that's messed up, bro. Don't do Jake like that, man. Don't do him like that, man. But shout out to Jake Haener, man, for being a Giant. They picked up Jake. They put him on the Jake. Hey, man, shout out to Jake and his agent. He found some work. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Tim, for
I want to say thank you,
that's right.
thank you very much. Picking me up,
One more
bringing
time.
me back to this world.
Donations, gifts, more gifts.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Tim. Shout out to you, man. Hey, yeah, that's the crazy part of this whole damn thing with Jake. But Jake, man, shout out to Jake, man. Jake keeps a job, man. That's right, OG. More gifts, no T. All right, 6 degrees. All right, so with that being said, Len, we're going to cut out on that. I appreciate the Who-Dats for stopping by. Of course, the breaking news that occurred today, just to let the family members know that Saints rookie wide receiver Jordyn Tyson commits 2 weeks. This was reported on by Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network. So at least we know ahead of time that he'll be out for this long. We'll be able to get him at the top of the season to get back healthy. The Saints have a deep wide receiver room. Let's see how we adjust. You know, good teams are good at adjustments. Let's see if we can do that. With that being said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hype the stream, and share the links, man. Hit the subscribe button, man. We on our push past 15 large. We in the building. Sports Coma representing the realest in the nation. I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip side, man. Appreciate y'all. Much love, and who that to you.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thewhodatdaily.com, your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thewhodatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.